Hi, my name is Lara Waldman, and today I'd like to speak to you about dimensions. So, what dimension of consciousness are you hanging out on currently? So, the thing is that what you're experiencing in your life right now, what's showing up in your life right now, is one dimension of consciousness. It is possible to experience all sorts of things on this planet, all sorts of experiences. And yet, whatever you're experiencing right now in your reality feels like the truth. This is life. This is the world. This is what goes on. And what I'd like to speak to you about today is your ability to choose a different way of living. That you can choose to hang out on a different dimension of consciousness if you're not enjoying where you're currently hanging out. So where a lot of people hang out is the consciousness or the dimension of pain and suffering. That this is a very real reality for many people, where life is hard, life is difficult. It could be a world where there isn't love, a world where there isn't money, a world where there isn't food, a world where a whole lot of horrible things happen. And that is a very real world. Whatever's going on in your life, in your world, is real. But the magic of life is that it is possible to shift your experience of life based on where you're focusing your attention and what you're choosing to buy into as real. So all different dimensions of life, of living, of reality, and of consciousness are all happening simultaneously. But for our brains to understand it better, you can imagine it like on different floors. There's different floors of consciousness or different floors of different dimensions. So what floor are you hanging out on? It's possible to get into the lift or get into the elevator and press the button to go on a different floor. You can go up, you can go down. But in truth, it's all happening simultaneously. So to help you understand this better, have you seen it where there's something going on in your life where maybe you're having a great day, you're having an amazing day, but somewhere else is having a really awful time or an awful experience? That we're all on this planet together, and yet we're all having very, very different experiences of life, of reality, of what truth is, of what life is. And this shows up in people concluding about what love means, what life means, what health means, what marriage means, what relationships mean, what all sorts of things mean based on your current experience. But what happens is we get stuck there. We get stuck in that reality, and we decide that this is life, this is reality, this is how it is, this is how women are, this is how men are, this is what my job is like, this is how much money I can make, this is how much money I can't make, this is what's possible, this is what's not possible. And we're drawing conclusions all of the time. And the thing is that's fine, that's a choice, and that's a way to live, but it's possible to change and create a different life for yourself. So this sounds maybe a little bit out there. It feels very, very magical, but it's actually very practical. So you choose your experience of life based on where you're focusing your attention. So where you're hanging out and who you're hanging out with has a huge impact on how you experience life. So let's say you're experiencing a lot of negativity, but you want to choose the dimension of experiencing greater positivity. One of the ways to do that is to choose to hang out with more positive people and more positive environments for you, and to choose to spend less time hanging out with people who are negative or hanging out in negative environments that leave you not feeling good, essentially. That is incredibly powerful. Where you focus your time and attention will shift your reality. It will shift your perception of reality. And on the inner game, you can change your experience of life. You can choose which dimension to hang out on based on your inner world, on your inner thoughts and your beliefs and your emotions. So by shifting your inner state, your experience of life also changes. By shifting your inner world, your thoughts, your emotions, and beliefs, you change your experience of life, which actually changes your reality. And it's actually very simple to do this. And you will have already experienced this. You'll have good days and bad days. Have you ever had, a good day where just everything seems to be flowing, everything seems to be going well, you feel amazing. And then on a day where you feel bad, everything seems to be going bad. Have you noticed that? So is it that that's the outside world that's affecting that, or is it your inner state that's affecting that? I spend a lot of time coaching people and working on myself around the inner state, how changing your emotions, your thoughts and beliefs change your reality and change your experience of life. And it really, really does feel like magic, but it's actually incredibly simple. Now, what isn't necessarily simple or doesn't seem easy is when you're in a negative space to shift yourself out of it. That can feel very hard. But the truth is, it's possible to change your emotional state in a second. It's a choice. But we don't experience it as a choice. We experience ourselves as being a victim of life and a victim of our emotions. And that is a choice. That can be your reality. But you can also choose something else. So what dimension do you want to hang out on? Do you want to hang out on the dimension of pain and suffering, where life is a struggle, where life is a fight, where love doesn't exist, where there's separation, where there's misery? Or do you want to choose a dimension where there's peace and love and connection and empowerment and fulfillment and feeling good? I know what dimension I want to hang out in on. So what's really cool and how I see it psychically is that it's all going on at once. So it's almost like there's many, many, many different worlds in one world. And you get to choose what world that you live in. So one of the most empowering things that you can do for yourself is to stop looking at the outside world as your reality. Stop blaming what's going on outside as the cause of your feelings. And start doing the inner work. Start going within and choosing a different state and see how that changes your perception of reality. See that how that changes the way you view the world and see the world. What happens when you're feeling down or you're feeling bad or you're feeling negative is the outside world will reinforce all of those thoughts, all of those beliefs, all of those feelings. You become a magnet. This is part of the law of attraction. You draw in more of what you're feeling inside. So if you don't like that, it's time to shift it. And equally, when you're feeling good, when you're feeling peaceful, when you're feeling balanced, when you're feeling in flow, when you're feeling all loved up, more and more of that experience will be flowing to you, into your life. Now, it's not as straightforward as this, because you can, like in the elevator, you can go up and down on different floors all the time. You can be bouncing in and out of different dimensions all the time. But what you want to do is remember that you have a choice of where you want to hang out. So if you're not feeling good, if you're not enjoying what you're experiencing, what can you shift inside to change your external reality, to change your experience of life? So my kind of simple example of this is when I moved to London, England from Vancouver, Canada, I really hated it here. I really did not like the city. I'd grown up with the sea and the mountains, nature. It was beautiful and there was more space. And I moved to London. I found it really difficult. And also I'm incredibly sensitive, so I found it very abrasive. And on days, on bad days, I'd look around and be like, oh, there's shit on the floor and there's glass everywhere and there's rubbish everywhere. Why do people just chuck their rubbish on the floor? And, it just seemed really, really bad. But what I started to notice were on days where I felt really good inside, I would notice the blue sky or the flowers or, smiling faces. It seemed that when I was having a good day, everyone in London was so nice. And when I was having a bad day, everyone in London was so mean and unkind. So was it London that was changing from day to day, or was it me? And I soon discovered it was actually me. And it doesn't mean that there isn't, poo and garbage on the floor, but it's a choice. It's where I choose to focus my attention, and where I choose to, what I choose to give my energy to. And what you choose to focus your attention and energy on will grow. So where your attention goes, energy flows. So, and this is the same when I go back to beautiful British Columbia, that you can look at the beautiful sea and the mountains, the oceans, or you can choose to focus on, you know, there are still miserable people in Canada. There's pollution. There's all sorts of things going on. So you can choose to see the good stuff, or you can choose to see the bad stuff. And where you focus your attention on will amplify your experience of reality. So I'd like you to play with this. And sometimes it's not always easy to change your state. So it is helpful to reach out for support in those times. But I want you to know that your choice, you create your reality by your choice. Your choice creates your reality. So you're never a victim. Empower yourself with that choice. Sending you lots of love, and speak to you very soon.